Today I want to talk about software that truly respects their user and the cost that comes with it for the developer. Let's see how that looks like in practice. So you can apply this to any app, but I'm just going to use Obsidian as an example because they're doing things very, very well. They really respect their users, which I truly appreciate. So every time they make a decision for the user, respecting the user, they have to say no to something that actually costs them money because it is proven that it brings in money. For example, Obsidian doesn't have like a front up paywall that they show you like so many apps that you know, and that means they will get lower conversions. It's just the name of the game. That's just how it is. And no paywall means less money. They also don't do tracking, which means cannot be ad revenue because they also don't show you any ads. And it also means that they don't really get growth metrics about you. So they cannot optimize their product in different ways like A/B testing and make little experiments with you to see when you use the app more and what brings them more money. The same goes for the no account. So you don't need to have an account when you open Obsidian. There's no such thing except if you use some advanced features like syncing and other stuff. That means they don't have any user data. They don't know their users. They don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. And they also cannot send you newsletters to try and get you back to using Obsidian or to buy a subscription for whatever plan they have, like you can see from many, many apps. Then another really risky thing for them is they have this open data model, which they're really proud of, which I also really appreciate. But that also is risky because it means every user that they have can just leave and use another app. It's actually very, very simple because all of the data is in an open format. There's no lock-in effect. So it's really easy to leave. Let's think a little bit about how we can see or notice if an app is not really respecting us, or any software for that matter. So if an app that should be able to work in airplane mode doesn't work in airplane mode, that's obviously a very big red flag. Obsidian, again, totally checks the box here. You can use it offline, in an airplane, doesn't matter. The second thing is when the core function needs no account, that is also a really good sign. If you need to sign up, the question should always be, why do I need to sign up? Why do they need my email address? Why do they need my user data? Is it really necessary for the product that I'm using, or is this just a growth hacking technique? Another thing that always signals respect is having a one-time purchase option, and additionally, but optionally, a free tier that makes sense, that is not limiting the user too much and is super annoying by showing ads or just making your life unnecessarily hard. Then another thing is, of course, data export. Any app that lets you export the data that's inside the app is automatically respecting you, because that means we are okay if you need to move on. We understand that you need your data. Big plus. Of course, also when the privacy policy is almost empty, or it's just one line that says we don't track any data of you, huge signal of respect. If it is like a multi-page thing, or you need to scroll until your middle finger bleeds, bad sign. not respecting the user. And then another thing, we see this often with like growth hacker and indie hacker stuff, is a website that mentions MRR or ARR, especially when they say like they're open. Often a red flag, because it means that their priorities is just increasing the ARR and the MRR. By the way, MRR means for monthly recurring revenue. So that is basically the measurement for subscription revenue that comes either annually or monthly. When you see that, little red flag, because usually that means the developer is focusing on money and you're not respecting their users. And of course, there are some things that you should look out for the other way, that immediately tells you we are disrespecting our users. You see this a lot in apps or blog news sites. They show you like a modal, and you can't read their content before you say, no, I don't want to sign up to your newsletter, or they want you to sign up to the newsletter. Huge sign of disrespect, in my opinion. Same thing with upfront sign up or paywalls for a tool that doesn't need a sign up. Why do I need to get bothered with like a sign up? That is just a strategy to get you to sign up, even though it's not necessary. Same with like a paywall like that. You cannot even test the tool. You don't even know what you're getting into, but they already like paywall you. Of course, if it's like well communicated and it's like a one-time purchase, I think that's fine. A good example here is also Things from Cultured Code. they have just a one-time purchase, but after that they really don't bother you. You just open the app, you don't need to sign in, there's no super long annoying onboarding, they don't ask you to do anything else after that point. I think that's fine as well. And then of course we value your privacy next to hundreds of privacy toggles. I actually have like a really fun example that I want to show you. I don't want to get into a lot of apps because I think I don't want to like throw shade at anyone, but I think this one is a really good example, so I'm just going to show it anyways. So this is the Dia browser. I know it's loved by many, but I think this is not software that respects you. The first thing you have to do when you download it is you have to sign up. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Okay, I guess I needed to create a new account, so I can't show you that, but I made a screenshot before because I thought it's just so ridiculous. They say like, privacy in Dia, you're in control. And after I had to sign up, so they already know who I am for a browser that doesn't need a user account. Like the core functionality of a browser doesn't require a user account. Any argue against that is nonsense. Then it says like you can track third-party trackers, but right under it is a checkbox saying like help improve Dia by sharing your content data. I think it's absolutely hilarious. That's trash. That's not software that respects its users. And then of course, you see this a lot in iOS apps, is the rate us popover right before you even started using the app, somewhere in an onboarding flow that lasts 30 screens just to show you how the app works, but also getting all of your permissions, collecting your email address, collecting your data, collecting your rating. Again, coming back to the first point, they do that because it works. Like after you go through 30 screen onboarding flow, the chance that you're going to pay or that you're going to start using the app is way higher than if you wouldn't do that, because now you're already invested. But if you see that, it always means they don't respect you. They just want to have the money from your pocket. Now let's talk a little bit about my own work, because I'm guilty of committing some of these crimes that we just talked about myself. I'm not proud of it, but I want to make things different in the future. So maybe we can make a little list to just show you the decisions that we made for Stash. Because Stash should be software that really values and respects their users. So for Stash, we made a decision that it is completely offline first, which means you will be able to use it anywhere you are, in a subway, on an airplane, it doesn't matter, it will work. Then there will be no sign up required. There is no such thing as a user account. There will be no trackers. And there will be a very short or even no onboarding, because we don't want to make you suffer through a super long onboarding, and we also don't think it's necessary. The idea of Stash is really easy to understand, which I promise you I will show this weekend. We also want to make a one-time purchase, and also maybe a little free plan that makes sense. We're not going to ask for your email address, and we're not going to ask you to rate us. I'm just super excited about this. I think it's going to be really nice. I wish that more developers would think like this. I think especially now it matters more than ever to have software that really respects you. And if you're a developer, please think about this. And if you're a user, use some stuff out of this video to figure out if a developer is really respecting you or if they just want to exploit you.